Hey guys, it's Chris. Thinking about getting plastic surgery? Have you ever seen it botched? From a fake Florida surgeon to a brutal visit to Tijuana, here are 10 of the craziest stories from when cosmetic enhancements went horribly wrong. Number 10. Rotting nose. A reality star was left with her nose literally rotting off of her face after a plastic surgery gone wrong. Anastasia Balanskaya is a Russian reality TV star who recently turned to Instagram to ask her followers to help pay for corrective surgery after the botched nose job left her with a black nose, which she said is about 2 months away from decaying right off her face. Amazingly, the rot didn't start right away. She actually had the procedure done a few years ago. After the surgery, her nose swelled and began to rot from the inside, something she couldn't detect since it wasn't visible from the outside. Her body had a bad reaction to the implant. And then no matter how many times she tried to correct the procedure, it just got worse and worse. Finally, after years of failed antibiotics, doctors told her it was too late. She's now on the cusp of having her nose gone for good. A simple surgery turned her from a gorgeous woman into a noseless ghoul just like Voldemort. Even with money raised for corrective surgery, there's no guarantee that she'll ever have a nose on her face again. Number 9. Fake Florida surgeon. A Florida woman has been arrested for pretending to be a plastic surgeon and botching somebody's nose job. Her arrest came shortly after she performed nose surgery on a man whose face ended up disfigured. Her name is Alcalira Jimenez de Rodriguez, and the Miami Herald reported that she was arrested in Doral, apparently while in the middle of performing yet another procedure. Detectives burst into her office and put her in handcuffs, and she was later charged with practicing medicine without a license. But get a load of this. The guy who complained to the police after getting the failed rhinoplasty told authorities that he paid $2,000 for the surgery. If you're paying $2,000 for a person to reconfigure your nose, chances are you're getting ripped off. Not saying he deserved what happened to him, but he definitely should have sensed something sketchy was going on. Even more horrifying is that the poor guy was awake while the fake surgeon performed the job, and in the following days, he realized his nose wasn't healing properly and was actually deformed. According to what the unfortunate victim told a news outlet, the fake surgeon ruined his life. He's now going to have a disfigured nose forever. Number 8. The Tijuana Special. This next story gives us a major lesson on saving money. When it comes to plastic surgery, just don't do that. 3 women from California wanted to save a bit of cash on their cosmetic work, so they decided to head down to Tijuana. Many people do this to save a few bucks since medical care in the US can be dramatically overpriced. But as you might have guessed, not a single one of the women this time left Tijuana unscathed. One of the women died inside the clinic. Another needed to be put on dialysis because her kidneys started to fail. And the other was hospitalized for 2 weeks. The woman who died was just hoping to get a tummy tuck surgery. She passed away while on the operating table, but don't worry. The clinic did offer a full refund of the $6,700 that the woman paid to be basically murdered. And to make matters worse, the clinic responsible did not face any legal action at all. And they hid the responsible doctor away from reporters. Even the Baja California Secretary of Health refused to respond or make any comments on the situation. They got away clean, while the 3 women were left dead and dying. Number 7. Lumpy lips. A mom from Connecticut wanted to improve her appearance. She was already what the typical person might consider a good-looking woman, but she thought, hey, I'll get myself a lip job. Well, her lip job turned into a nightmare when she was left with lumpy lips and a misshapen nose. She went from being an ordinary woman to looking like an orc from Lord of the Rings. But how did this disaster unfold? What went wrong? She had signed up to get lip filler, a relatively simple procedure that gives a person plumper lips. But instead of making her lips plump and juicy, the filler made them lopsided and quite frankly kinda hideous. She had to get a second surgery just to fix the nightmare of the first one. And when all was said and done, she claimed in an interview that she now feels uglier than she did before the operation. This was probably one of the worst experiences of the mother's life. Even after she healed, her lips still didn't look right, and her nose was still kinda wacky. The worst part was that she had nobody to blame. The filler just didn't work like it was supposed to, which is a risk you kinda have to be willing to take when you're getting injections. Little did she know this risk would leave her face permanently scarred. So what are your thoughts on these kinds of surgeries? Would you consider getting any work done? What if someone paid you like $1 million? Let us know in the comments down below. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Number 6. Brain dead. A woman in China signed up for a bit of cosmetic work. She was 34 years old when she underwent a procedure known as fat grafting. It's where you take the fat from your thighs and inject it into your forehead and the area around your eyes. Yes, we understand how crazy that sounds, but welcome to the wonderful world of plastic surgery. The goal of the procedure is to achieve a youthful appearance. The fat in your forehead is supposed to get rid of the wrinkles. However, this is obviously a dangerous surgery, and it was made more risky by the fact that the surgeon was practicing medicine without a license. The surgery went terribly wrong, leaving the Chinese woman brain dead. Before she even got off the operating table, her brain had been turned into a vegetable. Later on in the hospital, the woman died due to complications. The local authorities found out about the incident and quickly arrested the surgeon. Law enforcement is now trying to charge the supposed doctor for practicing medicine illegally, though she hasn't been officially charged with anything just yet. And to be quite honest, she might get away with just a warning even though she killed someone by injecting fat into their face without having the slightest clue what she was really doing. Number 5. Toothless celebrity. Former model and TV star Katie Price has admitted to some serious surgical mishaps that she's had throughout the years. After 26 years in the entertainment business, beginning as a model in 1995 at the young age of 17, she's gone under the knife dozens of times for getting facelifts, lip filler, a new nose, and even 12 breast augmentations. She even recently did a full-body liposuction. But not all of these experiences were successful. For example, in 2019, a facelift surgery left her in some seriously rough misery, and she found that her wound was infected and there was pus leaking out of her face. She woke up to find her pillow covered in a sickening yellow ooze and needed to seek immediate medical attention. We're almost vomiting just talking about it. But one of the worst experiences that she's had by far had to do with her teeth. You see, it may look like she has perfect teeth, but her real teeth have been shaved to tiny shark-like chompers that look absolutely horrifying so that her veneers could attach properly. It's the veneers that give her that fantastic smile. Throughout all the oral operations, she has suffered ulcers, was unable to speak, and once all of her fake teeth even fell out while she was on vacation, and she was left toothless in the Maldives. Hopefully, she learned her lesson. Number 4. 14-month coma. Emmeline was 19 years young when she decided to get breast enhancement surgery. It would be the last major decision she ever made. The surgery took place in August of 2019, but something went horribly wrong. She was left in a coma for 14 months after the surgery until she ultimately died in the hospital. The young girl's parents sued the plastic surgeon, Dr. Jeffrey Kim, and his nurse anesthetist, Rex Meeker, for negligence. According to the parents, the doctor left the young girl alone for 15 minutes after administering the anesthesia, something that should absolutely never be done in case medical complications happen in reaction to the anesthesia. During the 15 minutes that Emmeline was unobserved, she went into cardiac arrest, stopped breathing, and died on the table. But don't worry, this story gets even more brutal. The doctors performed CPR, then waited over 5 hours before they called 911. And because of this, Emmeline went into a months-long coma where she had to be fed through a tube. In the last days of her life, she was living in a nursing home, but she contracted pneumonia. After being rushed to the hospital, she died after having multiple heart attacks. And sadly, all of this happened because of a boob job. Number 3. Elf ears. There's a bizarre beauty trend going on in China that you're not going to believe. Forget plastic surgery to get a smaller nose, people are currently lining up to get pointy elf ears. But just wait a second, they aren't inspired by the fairy tales like you might think. And they don't actually want to look like elves. Instead, by enlarging their ears and making them pointier, women in China are claiming that their faces look slimmer and more attractive. That's wild, right? Song Yao, who herself got the surgery done to enhance her ears, told Vice News that she thinks she looks more energetic. And since it's a pretty simple procedure, it only costs about $1,500 in China. The most popular doctor performs over 6 elf ear surgeries per day. The procedure involves injecting hyaluronic acid into the tips of the ear, which makes them plump up. This procedure does come with some risks, though. It is very easy for the ear to get infected, and at such a strange spot, it's even difficult to treat once it's gotten to that point. Blood clots on the ear are also very common, which in some cases can turn fatal. But even knowing the risks, thousands of people continue to get the surgery. At this point, it's not a matter of if the trend finds its way to the rest of the world, but when. Number 2. A botched butt. A woman almost ended her marriage by accident after getting an impromptu butt surgery. Her name is Juliana, and she hired a discount doctor in Colombia to get the fat sucked out of her back and then recycled back into her buttocks. It's a fairly common procedure, and one that she somehow didn't tell her husband about. She claimed that it just kind of happened, a spur-of-the-moment kind of deal. No wonder it went wrong. Then when her husband asked what was going on with her much larger behind, she told him that she'd been working out more. Of course, the husband wasn't stupid. He assumed that she had done some plastic surgery, but she denied it fervently. It became such a problem that their marriage almost ended. But things got even worse for Juliana. She realized there was something wrong with the implant after about a year went by. She had pain in her backside and went to the doctor to see what was wrong. It turned out that the discount surgeon had injected her with silicone, which can be fatal if the silicone gets into a person's blood supply. The silicone can clot the blood and cause immediate death. In the end, Juliana had to get the implants removed. She was left looking deformed, with her buttocks deflated and weird-looking. Juliana said recently in an interview that she feels ashamed, and also admitted that after the whole ordeal, she and her husband will probably split up anyways. Number 1. Elephant Man lips. A nurse named Billy Rucroft was left looking like the Elephant Man after a botched operation with lip fillers. Her lips swelled to nearly double their normal size after the filler was injected into her top lip. She had the procedure done in her living room by a couple who charged her around $100 for the treatment. She should have known something was wrong immediately when the operators got up and hurried out of the house following the injection. 30 minutes after they left, Billy's lips swelled up like 2 big balloons. The young girl was obviously horrified by what was happening, and so she tried to get a hold of the woman who was giving her the injections. But the woman dismissed her claims and said it wasn't her fault and that Billy needed to go to the hospital. She was obviously a quack, and it's kind of shocking that she hasn't been put behind bars yet. Luckily, the doctors at the hospital were able to give Billy a steroid injection to calm the swelling, and a course of painkillers to keep her lips numb and at ease throughout the night. By the next day, her lips had started to go back to normal, but still, it was a very frightening experience for her, one that, believe it or not, she repeated 2 more times, though the next 2 times the injections actually worked. But you would think she'd learn a thing or two by now. That's it for today. Would you ever get some kind of cosmetic enhancement? Do you know anyone who's had plastic surgery go wrong? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe for all the most shocking videos from the channel.